Right now, live at 5, 8 months after the death of a 4-year-old girl in Hayward. Charges are filed against her mother and a boyfriend, what authorities say led to the girl's death. Plus,
we take a look at Duluth's housing report and why prices have been so high.
And later,
it's opening day for one of Cloquet's most popular restaurants. We'll tell you what you need to know coming up tonight.
You're watching Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristen Bakke. Briggs is on assignment tonight. 8 months after a Hayward 4-year-old battling cerebral palsy died of alcohol poisoning, the girl's mother and her boyfriend have been charged with her death. Dominic Faulkner is facing first-degree murder, abuse, and neglect charges. Meanwhile, Samantha Smith is charged with abuse and neglect. Both appeared in Sawyer County Court for the first time this morning. And CBS 3's Larissa Millis spent the day looking over these court documents. Larissa, some truly terrible allegations here.
Yeah, Kristen, after all this time waiting for charges, it was a very emotional day for so many connected to this case. I spoke with the victim's grandfather, who told us Zoe was a happy kid and didn't deserve this. We'll hear from him coming up tonight at 6, but first we'll break down what authorities say led up to the girl's death. We do want to warn you some of these details are disturbing. According to court documents, authorities responded to a home on West 2nd Street in Hayward on July 28th last year. Someone called 911 and said a 4-year-old girl there wouldn't wake up. When they arrived, first responders determined the girl had died. They didn't do an autopsy right away, but the coroner took a blood sample. Those results showed the girl's blood alcohol content when she died was more than 0.5%. The medical examiner said that would be a deadly level for anyone, let alone a child. While court documents didn't shed light on exactly how the victim's BAC reached that level, authorities interviewed both Faulkner and Smith, who said they were typically the ones to feed the victim through her feeding tube. They also told authorities they were the only ones home at the time of her death. We also learned a bit more about the victim today. Family members who gave us permission to use these photos identified her as Zoe. Court documents show she was diagnosed with severe cerebral palsy very early on in life. She also could not speak or move and could only eat or drink water through a feeding tube. Another detail we learned today is that Faulkner was an approved caregiver through Sawyer County Human Services, and Smith says he was assigned to care for Zoe. According to court documents, Faulkner was also being paid by the Certification for Long-Term Care, or CLTC. We reached out to the County Human Services Department to learn more about his history as a caregiver there and if he was responsible for any other people, but did not hear back by news time.
Well, Larissa, a lot of people wondering if there was a history of abuse or neglect here, and if so, how it could have gotten to this point.
That's something authorities addressed in the court documents. Faulkner moved into Smith's home in August 2020, about a year before Zoe died. They say before that there was never any documentation of broken bones or bruising. And keep in mind, doctors were seeing and treating Zoe quite often due to her cerebral palsy. But in the year after Faulkner moved in, court documents point out at least 6 incidents that either the victim's biological father, school staff, or medical professionals reported Zoe having bruising, fractures, and broken bones. It's unclear if those were reported to law enforcement at the time or if they were ever investigated.
All right, something we will certainly continue to follow. Larissa Millis in studio for us tonight. Thank you, Larissa. There are still a lot of unanswered questions here. We're waiting to find out how authorities and the district attorney determined what charges to file against both Faulkner and Smith. We also don't have a clear picture of the timeline for when Zoe's death was ruled a homicide and why charges weren't filed until 8 months later. We'll keep following this story and bring you updates as they come in. Again, we will also hear from Zoe's grandfather tonight at 6 and why he's questioning Child Protective Services. A new face has entered what's expected to be a closely watched race for a northern Minnesota State Senate seat. Hermantown City Councilor Grant Housechild officially announced his campaign for District 3 today. That includes Cook, Lake, Couchiching, and parts of St. Louis County. Housechild, who's running as a DFLer, says if elected, he wants to secure state funding, improve health care for those in need, and invest in a diverse economy. Housechild says he knows how much Northlanders help each other during difficult times, and he wants his campaign to showcase that. State Senator Tom Bach currently holds this seat, but announced earlier this month he wouldn't run again. So far, Republican Andrea Zupancic, the mayor of Babbitt, is the only other candidate in that race. DFLer Keith Steva had also announced a campaign, but then dropped out after learning Housechild planned to run. If needed, a primary would be held in August with the general election in November. Here's a live look at the Duluth hillside tonight, a neighborhood thousands call home. But even with all of the homes and apartments you see out there, some people are still having trouble finding a place to live. Yesterday, Duluth released its annual Housing Indicator Report, giving an in-depth look at where the housing market stands right now. And today, CBS 3's Quinn Gorham takes a closer look at the trends.
The demand for units across all affordability levels is just so high that it's difficult for people to obtain housing.
In a housing market experiencing all-time high prices, Teresa Bida with the City of Duluth says it all comes down to supply and demand of rentable units.
In 2020, we were looking at a vacancy rate of about 5%. This year, we're looking at 2.1%.
Bida, who wrote this year's Housing Indicator Report, says several factors connected to the pandemic are to blame. She says the solution, in theory, is simple.
We meet the demand that we need for housing.
But with high costs stalling the construction of new buildings, that fix might take a bit.
Duluth is really expensive to build in right now, and we're also seeing it's difficult. We don't have the labor force that the Twin Cities has.
The competitive market isn't new to Duluth. Jill Keppers with the Duluth Housing and Redevelopment Authority says prior to the pandemic, the housing vacancy rate was just as low as it is now.
Our vacancy rate has consistently been 3% and 2%. Last year, there was this kind of blip at 5%.
Keppers attributes the increase in availability to the pandemic. But now, with a return to normal levels and decreased availability, prices have continued to rise in response.
And it just creates more difficulty for those that are most in need and most vulnerable for affordable housing to be able to find a place to live.
And even with the recent report providing some insight into the root of the issue, Bida says there are still a lot of questions about the future.
How do we work with state, federal, and local partners to close that gap?
The housing report also showed some interesting information on the price of apartments and homes. The average rent across all market rate rental units went up about $220 last year. The median price of a single-family home in Duluth increased by 17%, up to $240,000. According to One Roof Community Housing, the housing crisis is a nationwide issue, not unique to the Twin Ports. Last year, the City of Duluth set aside roughly $20 million of COVID relief money to help pay for more affordable housing in the city. Well, Dave joins us now for a quick look at the weather. Dave, still some snowflakes flying out there here in Canal Park this afternoon, but sounds like things are kind of calming down.
Calming down for parts of our area, but we're still looking at warnings and advisories for other parts of the region. So to the map we go, and the tip of the arrowhead, folks there looking at a winter storm warning still in effect till 7 o'clock tonight. People in the UP have that winter storm warning going till 7 o'clock as well. And people in Wisconsin still looking at a winter weather advisory until midnight here tonight. Yeah, the tail end of the low pressure systems from yesterday is still keeping some snows going, and another inch of accumulation by tomorrow morning is not out of the question. So here is a look at the latest Doppler and satellite map. Twin lows brought us the onslaught of snow yesterday, and some towns went towards an inch all right. Others got just a dusting. I'll show who's who on that coming up in a few more minutes, but the current Doppler indicates that indeed we're going to get the chance for another inch of snow through tomorrow morning. Short-term forecast says tonight it's a 70 to even 90% chance for those flurries. Low temps will be in the upper 20s for many towns. Tomorrow we will get some sunshine. It will go into the 40s for one day. Maybe it'll melt some snow. As early as Friday, we already get another chance for snow. I'll talk about if that's a big one or a little one coming up in a couple more minutes.
Still to come on Live at 5, a group in Chisholm is looking to honor Vietnam veterans this summer. Details as we take you around the Northland after the break.
6 years special financing has been extended at Home Furniture. Everything is on sale, and you can finance it for 6 years with no money down and no minimum purchase. Extended savings with 6 years special financing only at Home Furniture.
Here at locally owned Adolphson Real Estate, we are ready to help you find the property of your dreams with no extra fees. Take a look at this already cleared building site on a golf course in the country. Please call our Cloquet office for more details. Call us today to schedule a tour at Adolphson Real Estate.
More Americans are growing their own vegetables than ever before. At Garden Mats, we're here to help people supplement their food supply with fresh, organic vegetables. Whether you are a beginner, novice, or master gardener, Garden Mats make gardening a breeze. Spend your summers trying to keep up with each other, not your weeds. Go to gardenmats.com and plan your garden today.
Blue Rock Grill features a seasonally rotating cocktail list as well as an extensive selection of sought-after spirits. Whether you're seeking a quick sandwich for lunch, a nap and a cocktail, or the perfect night out with friends, choose Blue Rock Grill, located next to the Miller Hill Mall.
The Progressive Secret Sound from the Harley-Davidson Sports Center and the Northland's #1 radio station, Classic Rock 95 KQDS.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Arby's classic roast beef, adored by billions. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meat.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
For a limited time at Homeworld Rugs, when you buy one rug at sale price, you'll get another rug free with many different patterns, sizes, and shapes to choose from. And rug experts in every showroom to help. You'll find the perfect rug. Buy one rug, get one free. Now at Homeworld Rugs.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from Two Harbors tonight where some lingering snow is still falling. Dave will be in with your full forecast in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look around the region. A meeting on proposed road work in Two Harbors and community inclusion work coming to northeast Minnesota. All of that and more as we take you around the Northland city by city. We start things off in Chisholm tonight, where the United Way of Northeastern Minnesota's United for Veterans Committee has several opportunities in the coming months to honor Vietnam vets across our region. In June, they will be staffing the Wall That Heals Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall replica 24 hours a day. The Chisholm replica wall will have a plaque to match the memorial wall in Washington, D.C., as well as photos of vets from our area. In addition to being included on the wall, vets will be enrolled in the In Memory Honor Roll, a chance for their name to be read aloud during a ceremony in Washington, among other services for their families. Next, we head to Two Harbors, where there will be another group of meetings for upcoming road work. Next week, MnDOT will be talking to residents about Highway 61 as it comes into and goes through Two Harbors. The state is focused on 8 aspects of the road that could see improvements, including parking, biking, pedestrian lanes, traffic control, and more. Meetings will be held in person next Tuesday, the 29th, at the Lake County Highway Department building and virtually on Wednesday and Thursday. And we wrap up with a new inclusion program coming to a few of our local communities. Cloquet, Cook County, and Rock Ridge schools were all chosen for an inclusion readiness assessment. Community members within those districts are invited to attend a Zoom meeting and discuss different community affiliations and groups. Schools, healthcare, law enforcement, and nonprofits are just a few. The results of the assessment will help in community action planning and learning opportunities in the future. We will have more information on those assessments and all of today's stories on our website. If there's something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, send us an email and it might be featured as we go around the Northland city by city. Still to come on Live at 5, a Minnesota Classic reopened for the season today, and they're giving back to the community. We'll tell you how in a few minutes.
Well, yesterday's snow, today's snow as well, about 1.5 inches at Duluth International Airport, but towards the North Shore and up near the Canadian border, a lot more than that. And a little more could come down tonight, followed by some sunshine on Thursday, but another round of snow already by Friday. We'll talk about all of this after our break.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roberto Fernandez. I'm an oncologist and hematologist at St. Luke's Regional Cancer Center in Duluth. Developing a relationship with a patient and their families is incredibly important with the diagnosis of cancer. They need to have adequate trust in the care providers that they are working with. From start to finish, it's a journey. You know, when a person is diagnosed with cancer, it's not something that they prepare for. And our job as their oncologist is to really be a facilitator of information, a good communicator, and help them navigate that journey.
The Arrowhead Home and Builders Show returns March 30th through April 3rd.
Looking for fun, family-friendly entertainment?
Don't miss the high-flying, stunt-performing, frisbee-catching, Furtastic canines.
Relax in Grusendorf's garden and watch world-renowned Ted Siebert create a masterful sand sculpture.
Learn garden and landscaping tips from the Renegade Gardener.
Or let Joel Karsten teach you the benefits of straw bale gardening.
5 fun-filled days, March 30th through April 3rd at the Deck in Duluth.
$5 event parking. Details at arrowheadhomeshow.com.
My father bought our family's first snowmobile in 1969. Since then, I've been hooked on the vintage machines. Just like old motorcycles, keeping an old sled running takes an experienced hand. As the Northland's longest-serving broadcast meteorologist, I think I have the experience needed to make an accurate forecast for snowmobilers and other winter sports enthusiasts.
Watch Dave Anderson weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
Having trouble finding a place to live? You're not alone. We'll take a look at Duluth's latest housing report coming up.
The snow is wrapped up for half the region, but not the other half. I'll talk about when that's going to end.
Tonight at 6 on CBS 3. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, let's wrap up by looking at some of the snow totals. Quite a wide range out there. We'll start high and go low. International Falls, border country, got a lot of snow. 13 inches there, International Falls indeed. 11 inches for Silver Bay, 10 for Grand Marais. The Mesabi and Vermilion ranges in general ran about 5 to 6 inches there. Grand Rapids is an example of that, so was Chisholm. Duluth, the Kenwood neighborhood got 3 inches if NWS Duluth there over towards the airport only got 1.5 inches. Red Cliff, Wisconsin, 2 inches there according to Coco Ross reports, 1 inch in Superior. But we're still expecting more snow totals to come across from that region as the snow chance there lasts for several more hours. So, yeah, those numbers could be inflated. Didn't get any reports from the UP, so hopefully folks in the UP will join Coco Ross, as they call it, and get us some fresh reports on the rundown. Well, let's run over to the green screen and talk about current conditions at Duluth International. Right now it's 33, still getting some light snow here in the Twin Ports as well. Northeasterly winds going 18 miles per hour, so it still is gusty and likely will stay gusty wind-wise through tomorrow. Relative humidity 82%, and our current temperatures, much like the last day and a half or so, very static, very close to the freezing mark. And that's what they got there in Evelyn and Virginia. Ely 2, 34 Cloquet is a little bit warmer, 32 Solon Springs, 33 in Superior, and 33 in Watersmeet. Low temps tonight may fall into the upper 20s. Then tomorrow we could perk up into the lower 40s and try and melt a little bit of this fresh snow, but only a little because it'll already cool down again on Friday, and we'll already get another chance for a little bit of light snow, just light stuff. Current Doppler map shows the tail end of our low pressure systems is spinning a wave of precip in through the UP towards northern Wisconsin and into parts of Minnesota as well. So that's why we're looking at the winter weather advisories and storm warnings for the Arrowhead, South Shore, and UP to go till at least 7 o'clock, and maybe even for till midnight, according to NWS Duluth here for the South Shore. Play it by ear and take it safe. Setting up then for the departure of the low pressure systems later tonight, early tomorrow morning, will be a high pressure system trying to drive those lows off towards the east. It'll also help try to bring in those cooler conditions. So after a bit of sunshine tomorrow and 40s, then the cooler air comes in, and an Alberta clipper hits us by Friday to bring us a 50% chance for snow. A chance of snow that looks like this, really just a trace to an inch for most of our region, But along border country here, 1 to 3 is possible according to the latest models, and a little lake influence could make a trace to 2 inches for the snow belt. So last week was false spring. Looks like winter is back at least for a couple of days. What do we get tonight? In Minnesota, 70% chance for more light snow. North wind 10 to 20 with low temps, 22 inland to 33 by the lake. Into Wisconsin, Michigan, we go with low temps there, upper 20s to about 30. 90% chance for the rain-snow mix in that neck of the woods. Followed tomorrow by a partly sunny sky in Wisconsin and the UP with highs from 40 to 43. The normal's around 39, 40, so warmer than normal for a day there. In Minnesota, we could go 40 to even 47. The warm place, turnabout being fair play this time of year, is International Falls. The icebox on defrost, the warm spot. Mostly sunny on that side of life, but already the clouds fill in Friday with that 50% chance for more light snow. And then the temperatures tumble for the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, highs near 30, lows near 10, followed by yet another chance for lighter snows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I haven't got a good feel of how much could come across for those systems, Kristen. The models are still trying to figure it out, computing and all of that. We'll track it, and we'll keep you updated on what comes across.
You got to do your robot. We were just talking about that the other day.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that was big in the 70s when I was a kid.
I love it. Thanks, Dave. As the rain and snow wrap up, at least for now, an annual sign of spring as Gordy's Hi Hat opens in Cloquet. CBS 3's Rob Coles stopped by today for some of the first burgers of the season.
Here at Gordy's Hi Hat, they've been serving up their famous burgers, fries, and shakes for more than 60 years. Staff say they opened the doors early to serve customers who were lined up outside this morning. The weather outside may have been cold,
542, 542.
but the piping hot burgers and fries warmed up many people inside at Gordy's. The restaurant is only open for the spring and summer months. Gordy's owner says they have become a regular stop for both locals in Cloquet and people from all around the state traveling through the area on their way to their cabins. The founding owner, Gordy Lundquist, passed away last summer.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
But his grandson and current owner says the groundwork his grandpa Gordy laid for the business is part of what keeps them open.
The appeal is my grandma and grandpa started in 1960, and over those years they just did a really good job of developing those relationships with our community as well as our traveling customers.
Seaver Lundquist says the family tradition extends to customers, too. He says he often serves children and grandchildren of the original customers from back when his grandpa first opened the restaurant. Although the world outside Gordy's has changed a lot since it opened in 1960, Seaver and the Lundquist family tell us inside the food is as good as it's ever been.
Sure looks good. Well, today was Gordy's official opening, but yesterday the restaurant provided lunch for a few deserving workers in Cloquet. We have their story tonight at 6. It's that time of the show where we get to talk about adoptable pets, and today's pet comes to us from Animal Allies here in Duluth. This is Flapjack. He is a 3-year-old and still has that young pup spark, as you can see in this video here. Our friends at the shelter tell us he loves people and snuggles, but he can get a little excited sometimes, and he just needs a home willing to help him with his manners and take him on some adventures. He looks like he'd be a lot of fun to adventure with. If you'd like to set up an appointment to adopt Flapjack, then you can call the number on your screen. Still to come, a recently passed law will help expand health care in rural areas, specifically for expecting mothers. Details after the break.
Now at Arrowhead Supply. Swoop in and save $400 on stressless wing recliners in all Paloma leather colors. Save now at Arrowhead Supply in Duluth and Virginia.
Duluth Stove and Fireplace offers a full line of Mendota fireplaces and inserts. Visit us online at DuluthStove.com or come and see us at Duluth Stove and Fireplace at 2431 West Superior Street and see your next fireplace.
Hi, it's me again. Listen to this. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check every month may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Check your zip code. It could be dynamite. Call now.
Call 1-800-919-1340. That's 1-800-919-1340 now.
Injured? Call Stockman Law Office. Serious injuries including wrongful death, medical malpractice, and nursing home neglect. Call anytime, 218-576-8599. No recovery, no fee. Stockman Law Office. Serious injuries, serious law.
Russell, what does this have to do with law?
Absolutely nothing.
Looking for a new garage? Maybe a home or cabin shell? Call Economy Garages to make your visions a reality. With over 40 years experience and over 9,000 buildings built for your friends and neighbors, you can trust us to get the job done right.
Call Economy Garages when you want it done right.
With Bath Planet, you get industry-leading products to modernize your bathroom with personalized options to fit your needs. Bath Planet has custom-built showers, baths, and maintenance-free wall surrounds with over 100 different colors and styles. Our certified installers can be done in as little as a day using products backed by the Good Housekeeping seal of approval and a matching labor warranty. Right now, you can receive 10% off your entire project and 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2023. Bath Planet, out of this world service, down to earth price.
Now at Arrowhead Supply. Swoop in and save $400 on stressless wing recliners in all Paloma leather colors. Save now at Arrowhead Supply in Duluth and Virginia.
While pregnancy-related deaths are declining around the world, the U.S. is the only industrialized country with a rising death rate among new moms. Minnesota's junior senator hopes her new bill will help. Senator Tina Smith's Rural Moms Act was recently passed into law. The goal is to put funding toward collecting data on maternal death rates, give grants to rural OBGYN programs, and grow telehealth options for moms getting ready to give birth. Smith says that's incredibly important in the Northland, especially because half of rural counties in Minnesota don't have access to birthing services.
So we have, for example, moms in Grand Marais that are driving all the way down to Duluth for their prenatal care and for delivering babies, and that is a long and slippery and dark drive in the middle of the winter.
The Rural Moms Act also creates training options for physicians, nurse practitioners, and midwives serving rural areas.
Coming up on this busy news day, the U.S. declares that the Russian military is committing war crimes in Ukraine as President Biden heads to Brussels ahead of a high-stakes NATO summit. Plus, devastation in Louisiana after an EF3 tornado tears through parts of New Orleans. We're on the ground as the search for survivors continues. And America's teacher shortage crisis. Tonight, one program that may have the answer to help educators in the classroom. That's all tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health. If you're 45 years or older, talk to your provider about screening options. The best colorectal cancer screening is the one that gets done.
Menards is your plumbing headquarters. Get hot water when you need it with Menards' selection of Richmond water heaters. With high efficiency and tankless options to choose from, you'll find the perfect fit for you. Get 11% off all Richmond water heaters. Keep your basement dry this spring with Barracuda pumps. They're energy efficient and can be used for many applications. Right now, get this quarter horsepower pump for just $42.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, folks. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 1-800-476-5600. That's 1-800-476-5600 now.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northlands still to this day. Join me, Kristen Vaki, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining.
Brought to you by Range Regional Airport. Watch Eye on Mining with Kristen Vaki every Tuesday at 10. Only on live, local CBS 3.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look from Canal Park on this Wednesday evening. Let's take a look back at today's top story and see what's coming up at 6. Tonight at 5, we learn more as a couple was charged in Sawyer County Court for the death of a 4-year-old girl. She died 8 months ago, and a blood sample taken that night showed her blood alcohol content to be at a 0.5. The girl's mother, Samantha Smith, has been charged with abuse and neglect, and her boyfriend, Dominic Faulkner, is charged with murder as well as abuse and neglect. Tonight at 6, we hear from the young girl's grandfather and how he'd like to see changes to the child protection system. That's your news at 5. The CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.